What's going on, guys? It's Daniel from CoinSpots here. And today, man, we've got even bigger news. Bitcoin has finally broken 10K. This is pretty ridiculous. This is crazy, and I'm loving it right now. Bitcoin has just it's been on this crazy bull run, as we all know, for the past 3 months. And just look at this growth. Absolutely insane. From we went from 3,000 now to 10,000 in about almost 3 months. Something to definitely celebrate about. And I think it's pretty much because Coin Market Cap is an average of all the exchanges, so it's really the Korean exchanges that have hit 10,000, right? We still see Bitfinex, GDAX. They're still, just under 10,000, or actually, wow, Bitfinex is about 100, almost $200 under 10,000. But I mean, overall, Bitcoin 10,000. So this is a pretty big psychological number that we were bound to hit, and I think now it'd be pretty safe to call the market top. Um, I personally don't see Bitcoin, continuing up on the bull run that it's had. Here looking on the Bitcoin daily chart on Bitstamp, you know, we finally see this RSI kind of maxing out here. The same thing with the MACD. I'm still gonna be waiting for a bearish MACD cross, and then I think that would, officially determine the end of the bull run for Bitcoin. But on the daily chart, we're still looking very, very strong. If we zoom into the 4 hour, I drew this new short-term trend line here that, Bitcoin just all green candles, you know, all the way up to 10K. Volume has not been that much actually. Um, but what we're gonna be wanting to see when we officially call the market top is a huge, huge sell volume, kind of like we've seen on these other dips. Just this massive, massive sell volume, because volume is a really good indicator to look at, especially when you're looking at the market bottom. Right, we saw this huge spike in volume, corresponding with the price of Bitcoin hitting 3,000, and buyers just thought that price was so cheap that they couldn't let it go any lower, basically. Same thing happened here, obviously not to the same extreme, but you want to keep an eye out for these huge volume spikes to pretty much call the top or bottom of the market, because it just shows that um, the run has just been overextended, right? That huge volume surge is just the last push. So for example, on the top, it would be the market is overexhausted, and that's why that volume is so high. And the bottom would be just the price is so cheap that people buy in, and that's what surges the volume up for that one specific candle. Um, so Bitcoin, still looking strong on the daily, but just keep an eye out for a MACD cross, and that's pretty much it. I think the top is in for Bitcoin. Um, this run has gone on for a bit too long now. If we look at the whole cryptocurrency market cap, we see that we're just over 300 million, which is pretty crazy considering we started the year at around 16, right, 17 million, right? So we've gone up a pretty significant ways. since the beginning of the year. And really the question that's on everybody's mind, and what I've been discussing a little bit on previous videos is, how long is this going to sustain, right? It's got to stabilize at some point, right? And not just Bitcoin, even altcoins. Like, look at the market cap excluding Bitcoin, right? This is pretty much, you know, crazy parabolic growth. And people have to realize that at some point this is going to correct. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge crash, but you know a correction is needed with growth like this. um, and the people have to be ready to um, take profits. Everyone, especially in the cryptocurrency space, has that whole concept of buying and hodling, right? And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're, consistently like looking at the charts and, keeping up with cryptocurrency news, buying and hodling can be, very tense on the emotions because, sometimes you have to, stomach some pretty big gains, right? Or losses, excuse me. Gains, no. Oh boy, I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. You have to stomach some pretty big losses, right? 50, 60%, and you have to ride those waves down until they correct. And if you're, checking coin market cap every day and you're thinking about your portfolio and it's just going down and down and down, you have to, you know, take those losses, right? And that could be pretty hard for some people. Um, so, just be aware that price is going to stabilize at some point. I'm going to probably talk more about the whole psychology behind taking profits in another video. Um, right now, I wanted to focus more on the internet bubble, right? So I personally wasn't around for the internet bubble, but a lot of people have been comparing the whole cryptocurrency rise to the rise of the internet, and the eventual downfall of the internet bubble. And I mean, anytime someone compares Bitcoin to the internet bubble, right? That term bubble, everyone always gets super mad. Um, but I think we're still in the early stages of this, so probably somewhere around here. Um, Simply because I think I was looking at some statistics and it's like less than 1% of the entire world's population owns some type of cryptocurrency. Um, so even though there's like, 13 million Coinbase accounts and, just this past Thanksgiving weekend, I think something like 100,000 were made, um, right? And that was simply because of, right, word of mouth. We've had Thanksgiving and, everyone gets together and, someone's, you know, blowing off about Bitcoin, and that's pretty much probably what could have influenced this run up to 10,000, right? Or wow, okay, almost 10,000. Wow, we were just at 10,000. That was all right. But yeah, the whole word of mouth feature, and when you're at the table discussing cryptocurrency and the gains that you've made, um, it definitely would entice people to start and step into the market. And since they have someone they know who's already in the market, that person can kind of guide them through what steps to take, to purchase their first Bitcoin. So quite possibly around Christmas time, we might see another run up again, um, just because more people are going to be together, and um, that word of mouth of cryptocurrency is going to continue to spread. It's going to be easier for new people to gain entry into it when they have someone who's already inside the space. Um, but going back to comparing Bitcoin um, to the rise and fall of the internet, um, one thing that's very similar between them is that in order for cryptocurrency to be adopted, right, it needs three major things, right? Price stabilization, adoption, and use case. Um, and a lot of the projects that are currently out there are really just in speculative form, right? They don't have a actual product yet, right? So I'm not saying all of them. So 10x, for example, I love that project. They've got 10x debit cards. They're partnered with Visa. They've got an actual working, functioning product. You can see videos on YouTube where people are purchasing stuff with their 10x card. So 10x has a working product. Something like Ripple has a working product, but Ripple has been in the whole cryptocurrency space for years, right? I'm talking about more startup projects, um, and it's just the fact that a lot of them are just speculative, right? They don't have anything to prove it yet. They want money, but they don't have anything backing that money. They're saying, oh yeah, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, but give us the money first, right? And that's something that you know if any of you guys were around for the internet bubble, that's pretty much what happened with a lot of the IPOs and startups during the 90s, right? They were just asking for money, but they didn't have a project developed yet. They had a lot of ideas for a project, but as you know, transforming those ideas into something that actually works and gets adoption are two completely different things. And the biggest thing at the end of the day is also user adoption, right? Why is someone going to use cryptocurrency as a payment method opposed to fiat, right? Why? What is so inconvenient about fiat that is going to make massive amounts of people switch and use cryptocurrency? Um, Same thing with the Brave browser, right? I'm using the Brave browser. I love the Brave project, but something um, like a new web browser, why are people going to switch to a new web browser? Like, what's so bad about Chrome? You see what I'm getting at here? What is the incentive that is going to push people to switch how they do things from the old way to a new way, right? And until we see some kind of huge catalyst where people realize it's inconvenient to do things the old way, cryptocurrency isn't going to start becoming mainstream yet. And obviously, this will happen throughout the years. There's going to be um, more proof that cryptocurrency and blockchain technology as a whole is more efficient than what we currently have, right? And it's just overall better. It's a technological upgrade from what we are, currently using. But that happens with time. And basically, what I'm saying is that not many of these coins on CoinMarketCap are going to make it, right? I think I touched on this, in a previous video, but this also has to do with the topic that we're talking about now with Bitcoin and the internet bubble, because it's not like every single IPO and the company that formed the IPO or launched it was successful, right? It's only a few of those companies or a select few of those companies. The same thing is going to happen with cryptocurrency, right? 13 or 1300 cryptocurrencies we have, right? Coins are being forked left and right, but do they really have any use cases? Um, and that's one of the big questions, right? And if you saw my last video, and basically where I was talking about how I think the European Central Bank was looking for the power to um, freeze branch bank assets in a time of huge financial instability, right? So basically, whenever there's a period of instability, people are going to be rushing to the bank to withdraw their money because of um, inflation, lowering interest rates, etc. Um, and since banks don't have you know all or every single dollar of every person's money who deposited money in the bank, right? They're going to go, bankrupt because they can't meet, every single person's withdrawal amounts. And, to protect the bank, obviously the institution or European Central Bank wants to be able to have the power to limit the amount of money people can withdraw. That would be a catalyst, I believe, to um, induce people to use cryptocurrency as a means of payment, right? Because something as big as that would, you know, make people question, financial institutions, saying, why can't I have access to my money? Because it's my money at the end of the day. I should be able to use that money, right? Because they could be out of a job now because of the recession or market crash, whatever the case may be, right? It's their money, but the bank isn't letting them take it out because if they take it out, the bank could probably collapse. That would be a huge catalyst for adoption, right? Um, Now I talked about you know some speculative stuff based on a certain economist's market theory prediction last video, but I absolutely have no idea when the next market correction or crash is going to happen. If I did, I'd be a millionaire. But it's just something to consider. So just remember stabilization of price, adoption, and use case. Big three things for cryptocurrency to go mainstream. We'll see them eventually, through the coming years, but just know not every single project out there, not every single coin on CoinMarketCap is going to make it. And I mean, kind of touching on um, this graph here, right? As I said in the beginning of this little segment, we're somewhere over here, right, in the very very early stages of adoption, um, right? Even though Bitcoin's been around since 2008 or 2009, pretty much no one knew about Bitcoin at that time, so it doesn't really count. Like I wouldn't count cryptocurrency starting to go mainstream until maybe 2014. Let's see how many coins are here. We still had 67 coins in 2014. Um, Maybe even 2015. Even if it's 2015 or 2016, right? All right, yeah, wow. Okay. Got a couple hundred coins already. Um, but even if we say 2015, we still have a long way to run, right? Because the whole internet thing started in what 94 and it peaked in 2000. So that's 6 years. If we started in 2015, we're only 2 years in. So um, there's still quite a ways to go and a lot of gains to be made until we see something like this. Um, so yeah, moving on to the next bit of news here. Um, a Swiss bank launched its Bitcoin ETF, right? Or ETP, excuse me. um, and CoinDesk and Cointelegraph are kind of flooded with all these articles of what countries are regulating Bitcoin or saying that they're going to ban Bitcoin, and then they say other countries that are more favorable towards cryptocurrency. So there were a couple articles on Australia the other day. Now we have this one on Switzerland, and as a whole, all of this like isn't too big of news for cryptocurrency as a whole. It isn't something that is going to, you know, be used as a catalyst to, drive price up, right? Bitcoin ETF in the United States would. Something as small as this, while it's good news, it isn't anything substantial, right? And I think that, as cryptocurrency becomes more mainstream and, more people adopt it, every country is going to have their own, view on it, right? So China is going to, want a lot of regulation on it. I don't think they're going to continue and outright ban it. Well, I mean, continue the ban, that is. They have banned it. I don't think they're going to continue the ban. They're going to find some way to regulate um, the markets, right? Whether that be subsidizing exchanges and just overseeing the exchanges, or having some kind of token that is backed by their fiat currency, so they can and have that token paired with the other cryptocurrencies. So if you want to buy a cryptocurrency, you have to go through the um, country's token that's paired with the other ones in order to buy it. So that way they can track, um, how much people are buying and what gains they've made. Um, but some countries they're going to view it positively. Some countries they're going to view cryptocurrency negatively. That's just how it's going to be. Um, and I mean, as I said, there's just tons of articles here flooding CoinDesk, Cointelegraph of what um, each country is doing, with Bitcoin. Like there was one on France the other day, and overall, just don't take the news too harsh. Most of it isn't anything major really. Um, as I said, something like a Bitcoin ETF, something like a big country, banning cryptocurrency, that would be big news. But these little bits and pieces here and there, while some are positive, some are negative, they're not really going to have a huge influence on the price overall, right? And just don't get too tied up in every little bit of news that comes out, basically. So yeah, this was a much shorter episode. Gonna or I've got a couple more topics in mind to discuss throughout the week, um, but those are going to be for later videos. I'm going to be trying to continuously do these kind of podcasts, slash market updates in every single day. Um, Honestly, it's a lot more work than a lot of people think. It's a lot of fun, but I've got a ton of other stuff that I got to do. Um, so as I said, I'm gonna try to be making these videos on the daily, Monday through Friday, and then um, potentially Saturday and Sunday I'll put out maybe some kind of trading tips video, or something else that's not the podcast, market update, market analysis, news analysis that I do during the week. So yeah, um, hopefully you guys make some good decisions with the top of the market here. What I think is the top of the market. Let me clarify. Hopefully you guys do good on your trading. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow in the next video.